dreamers dwell. Get your hustle on and that wealth build. From the dirt to the gold, every story's untold. Cash flow, Savannah, where ambition takes hold. Started with $1, stretched it to a mile. Every setback just to settle for style. Stacking paper, vision clearer than glass.
Welcome to Cashflow Savannah. We have two amazing VIP guests on the call today, two very good friends of mine. We have a very, very unique topic. For once, Chandler and I are not going to be talking about real estate investing, although this does have to do with real estate investing because this is part of my, what I call third act, my Julie 3.0 phase. In case I haven't mentioned this before, I have become a licensed travel agent. I love to travel, especially on points and miles. And when I was putting together my evil plan for my next phase, my very good friend who's on the call, Zarema Singson, she joined me and she and I both got licensed at the same time. And Zarema and I just completed our first trip leading a group as travel agents. And it was very exciting. We ended up doing health tourism themed trip. And so Chandler and I brought Zarema and Allison on the call. The three of us were all on the trip amongst others. And we are here to tell you about our experience in Turkey. We did a health tourism trip to Istanbul, Turkey. It was amazing. Chandler, we very much wished you had been able to come with us, but Chandler is going to actually interview the three of us today. I hope that you'll enjoy this conversation. It's a very unique topic. I do want to introduce our guests really quick. We have Dr. Zarema Singson. She is a medical doctor. She is based in Texas. She is not here giving medical advice. She's here giving travel advice with a medical spin. We also have Allison Bridges. Allison is based on Long Island, New York, and she actually owns a hair salon with several locations. And we are all business owners. We've been, networking together for many years and have done many trips, but this was definitely the most adventurous and far-flung trip ever for our group of ladies. Welcome, Z. Welcome, Allison. We're so honored to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
So, Zarema, we'll start with you. Just introduce yourself, kind of why you're doing what you're doing now, and then what you're doing with the travel and what's your plans and goals.
Sure. I'm a full-time gastroenterologist here in San Antonio, Texas. We have a medium-sized practice, but we're part of the GI Alliance. And I've spent most of my career taking care of patients in one of the most advanced healthcare systems in the world here in the United States. But every day I see how access, cost, burnout really affects both patients and physicians. And for me, healthcare has become like it feels more reactive now instead of restorative. We are focusing a lot on disease and illness instead of health and wellness. And so that's really what's kind of drew me to look at how other countries are approaching healthcare, combining both excellent medicine and also hospitality, and really creating more true healing environments. And that's what led me to kind of go down this journey. We could talk a little bit about what medical tourism is.
Yeah, please.
And it really just means traveling across borders to receive medical or wellness care. And that works both ways. So we're talking today about our trip out of the United States to Istanbul, but many people travel to the United States for our world-class care that we deliver, especially a lot of our cutting-edge clinical trials, like in oncology. And so that's happening every day here as well. But we're going to be talking today about going to Turkey. And so when people kind of hear medical tourism, they're thinking, oh, savings on cost. And that's part of it. But what we found too, you're getting when you travel high quality care, faster access, privacy, and just feeling like you're cared for in a more human way. And so when we were able to see at the hospital how they blended both, again, the medical aspect of things with more luxury, thinking executive health checkups, which is basically what we did, the three of us did. You can do longevity testing, you can do regenerative therapies, and it's all in a kind of beautiful setting. That goes a long way with healthcare.
Great. Allison, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I got to have the privilege of going on the trip as a guest and being led in, learning about the area, the culture, and also having this opportunity to take a medical trip, which it wasn't something that was really on my radar before. It was definitely something that was a nice bonus add-on on top of going to the trip, but it actually turned out to be one of the highlights of the trip. It was really great. And so
I think the first question would be like, what is medical tourism? I'm super interested in this because today's topic, like with medical advice right now, it's kind of tough for a lot of people. It's like I'm always kind of researching just myself, and it's hard to know what's right and what's wrong, So what is right and what's wrong in the medical world today?
If you don't mind, Julie, I'll just say, we have, again, extraordinary physicians and technology and resources here in the United States, but we have challenges, which you kind of alluded to: fragmentation, high costs, long waits. We struggle with getting medications, testing, procedures approved by insurance companies and then getting them scheduled. And so a lot of hospitals, especially abroad, abroad have really just streamlined that process so that you can get imaging labs, all your results, all done in one coordinated visit. And we can learn a lot from that efficiency. Julie, I know that was something that was, we're all founders, right? That kind of efficiency was key and important for us.
When I wanted to go into travel, I love luxury travel. That's my favorite. And I use points and miles to do a lot of it in my own life. I always have. But I wanted that to be my focus. And when I brought this up to Zarema and she said, well, I'd love to focus on health tourism, I thought, okay, like it really wasn't my idea of a vacation. And I don't think Allison either had ever just planned on going to the dentist on vacation.
I didn't. It wasn't on my radar, but I got to see a
it was
lot
one
of
those things
doctors
like,
on my
okay,
vacation.
cool. So my part of the trip really was to make everyone very comfortable. And I knew I had been to Turkey many times. It's one of my favorite places to visit. And so I was very comfortable. It's also a Muslim country with many Americans may or may not be nervous about. Right after 9/11, I assumed they all hated our guts. So my job, I really wanted everyone to come and be comfortable. So I planned the bulk of the trip. And then I was like, I love you enough to go to the doctors around. Like we
I
went
appreciate
just to learn about this. But I want to put it out there that I am a very hesitant person to use healthcare. I avoid it like the plague. And Zarema knows this. And I think she kind of figured if she took me somewhere fabulous and let me stay in a nice hotel, I'd go along. And she nailed it. And I really wanted to run almost every 10 minutes. I was like, ugh, if they had given me a shot, I probably would have hit the front door. I was a very hesitant traveler, but I was so incredibly impressed with the level of service and the competence and the machinery. Like Zarema said, that efficiency was huge. We would sit down, start a conversation, the three of us, and boom, they would pull us to another test. And we had probably $30,000 or $40,000 worth of medical exams within 5 or 6 hours. I mean, we were done by lunch. It was incredibly efficient. So I just want to say that, here Zarema is like this expert, like, yay, healthcare. And I was all, don't make me do this.
We can skip this if that's okay. If it's not available, we can skip it.
We're like,
Nope,
I'm good.
let's keep going.
My other thing too, and I don't mean to spoil the results, is that I'm a multiple time cancer survivor, and I am actually terrified of it coming back. I have many friends that have had it come back. So I've kind of hit that point in my life where I just didn't want to know. And so I was kind of like this, and I got really good results. So I'm glad I went. But anyway, I just want we all were coming from different perspectives on this trip, but we gave it our all. I'm proud of that.
And I kind of felt like if I were to receive bad news, which can happen, it will happen one day. If I were to, I am surrounded by friends who will love and support me and get me through that. And immediately after are very proactive and are like, what's the next step? Let's get this done. And I think for me, that would have been actually a benefit, is knowing that I would have been loved and supported regardless of what, and take charge kind of. So for me, that was actually very reassuring that I was doing this with friends.
So
Yeah.
now we're in Turkey. What was the process like? I'm totally new to this, so I have no idea what y'all did. So take us through the process. Why would I want to go to Turkey when I could just stay here maybe? Tell me a little bit about Turkey versus the United States.
I can talk to the efficiency of and how much I appreciated that and why you would want to go to Turkey or another country to get these tests done. It would take half a day for me to go to the doctor for one test. We arrived at 8 a.m. They were testing us by 8:30. The doctor is the person who is actually performing the treatment on you. So you have instant result, instant feedback loop, and you're going from one room to the next. I was between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. I had a ton of tests done. I had my dental checkup. I had an eye checkup. I had a gynecological exam. I had mammograms. I had ultrasounds. I had bone density, stress tests. There's so many tests that were done so efficiently and effectively, and that also included a sit-down meal with a waiter bringing us food in that time frame. And we had every test done that you could think of under the sun. If I had done that in the United States, I would have had to take half a day off of work. I would have seen one doctor. I would have had to follow up with the insurance agent, with the insurance company to get the referral. And it would have taken me probably 2 years to get that much testing actually done and completed in the United States, especially without having a reason to go do it. So if there's no question that anybody would be worried about, bone density, you're not going to receive that test because because you'd have to really ask or push for it in the United States. So it was really, really great that we could see it, that they could do it and give us full picture of what was going on more proactively, like Savannah was saying.
I think it even started for me even at the airport, right? When we had cleared customs through baggage, gotten all our baggage, they had a little office at the airport, and we were like, "Hi, we were checking in," and they had transportation arranged for us already to take us to our hotel. They had arranged transportation from the hotel to the hospital, back to our hotel, and then several days later to bring us back to the airport. And I know Julie had been there many times to Turkey, but when you're going to a new country, you're like, are the cabs safe? Is Uber okay? Are they going to figuring out the payment? It was all included for us in our executive checkup.
When we decided
that was a huge relief.
I'm sorry, Z. Z sent us links. She had it organized perfectly. And she said, here are your lists. Pick what you guys want to do. And, you can go for plastic surgery. You can go for stem cell. We did a health testing. We just basically did a testing series, just like preventative. But you can pick from all different menus. And it was wonderful because this was coming from an MD here in the US who I know and trust. And she said, I like these, pick. And so we all picked this just basic day of testing. It was $1,000. And I'm telling you, we had ultrasounds and scans and things that were multiple thousands of dollars here in the US. It was really incredible. But we could pick and choose. And I keep saying, I've been to Turkey all these times and I have never gotten anything fun done. When you walk around Istanbul, you see tons of people with hair plugs and Botox and filler and just, you can tell, chin lifts and facelifts, and it's really incredible. And so this was really the first time that I went and really experienced the healthcare, but it was really neat. From the beginning, we knew what we were doing, how much it would cost, everything that was included, including, the transfers. There was a meal. Like, it was just so well put together by Zarema. I can't even say enough how impressed I was, how organized it was for the price. It was really impressive.
So what is the cost difference when you're traveling over there compared to here?
We didn't go individual by the testing and things like that. And we did a 1-day testing, but you can go up to 2 and 3 days. Like if you wanted to get your colonoscopies and endoscopies, you could go and stay a little bit longer and get all of those things done. A lot of people are doing longevity testing. So there's all kinds of things that you can kind of keep adding on. And they were very amenable to discussing those kinds of things. I think we should probably touch on Cardinal. She was just a fantastic piece of the day as well. I don't know, Allison, if you wanted to, or I'm happy to.
Sure. No, she was wonderful. We had an interpreter. So she was organizing all three of us at the same time to go into all these rooms for different testing. Like every 15 minutes, you were in another room. And she kept it moving and flowing very, very well. And she had other patients aside from us, our group, that she was organizing. And really, she was really great interpreting for us if the doctor didn't speak English. But then at the end, the doctors that we were seeing for our final results and things like that, they did speak English very well. So we were able to communicate very well and ask any questions that we wanted.
And she spoke 4 languages, actually.
Yeah.
And she was kind of our interpreter / liaison and just kept us moving and on track. So that was it was easy not to have to be like, oh, where do we go next? Look at the schedule. She just kind of kept ushering us around the hospital, and it was very, very easy. It didn't give Julie a chance to back out.
I tried. She was also, if we found anything, and I even asked her, I said, hey, can I get some Botox while I'm here? Because like I said, I'd like to do something fun. She was trying to find pricing, organize different things. Like it was just really great to have that English speaker that was our person, and we could ask her anything we wanted. She made sure we didn't get lost or run away. She was really good. It was just a really nice setup.
So Zerma, I kind of want to zero back to you since you're the travel agent, Julie as well. It's like I would have zero idea how to book all of this. Like what's the kind of things that you go through to kind of help people? All of this booked is totally different company or country. I wouldn't know where to even start. How can you help people?
I think it depends from looking at just the medical aspect of things. I'll let Julie touch on, because she led a very luxurious trip for all of us and lots of sightseeing and some of the activities that we did. Julie took over that. But from the medical aspect of things, I would say, what is it that you're wanting to do and where do you want to go? And so, for example, we talked about Turkey. It's actually known for their hair restoration, hair transplants. That's actually something they're very much known for. And they have several hospitals that do that. They do some bariatric work as well. And so it's just depending on where you want to go. Some of the other top players in the world, like Thailand, but they're more really on the wellness and recovery aspect of things. So you're really going to see some of those spa level type wellness retreats, probably in Thailand. Singapore, we've talked about Singapore as well for some of their advanced diagnostics. So really it's just depending on more like what it is that you're wanting to do and where you want to go, and see if we can kind of pair those things up. We knew we were headed to Turkey. And so then it was just a matter of figuring out, okay, I looked at 3 different hospitals. You want to make sure that they're accredited, the Joint Commission International, just to make sure that they're accredited and look into those kinds of things, much like you would shop for a physician or a practice where, here in the United States, you want to make sure that you have a good fit and what packages and what they're offering and the pricing and stuff like that. So it's a combination of what you want and where you want to go, and see if we can make those match.
I will say,
Luxury
Zarema,
is joy.
I really appreciated those, Zarema. When I looked at the list, when I was sent the list, it was like a lot of tests, a lot of things I didn't even know what they were. And I was like, really don't know what I need. So I definitely leaned on Zarema when she was saying, like, I think that this is going to be the best package for what we need to do. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good, Z. So I definitely did really appreciate your help with picking that out. And I think that, especially people doing this for the first time could really utilize somebody that knows and understands that in the industry.
You're looking at $30,000 to $40,000 worth of healthcare that we got. All of us that went very well, and we used points and miles to get there. We took time off of work. I would say that was the most expensive part of the trip. Would you guys agree? Because we shared hotel rooms. Allison and I were in the same hotel room, and it was a very nice hotel room, and it was not overly expensive. And food is not overly expensive. A lot of these countries, they're much cheaper than the US. So when you look at what we got done versus what we actually spent in dollars, I mean, it was really a fraction of what we would normally spend on a family vacation. And I agree with what Zarema said. Almost pick where you want to go and what you want to have done, and we can work that out for you. Like, the info is there, and that's what I've told several clients since. I'm like, just pick where you want to go first, because we're only going to recommend a place with a great reputation for healthcare. No one's going to send you if they have bad healthcare there. Neither Z nor I would want to send you there. But yeah, it was cool. We picked the location first, and then what we wanted to do second, and then I built in an itinerary around that. So we were able to sightsee and do all the things. And as we were doing things, we were doing all the sightseeing with other people that had obviously had surgery done, and no one could even tell that we were there on a health tourism trip because we just had testing. The other thing I want to point out is that here in the US, once you get something on your medical record, it's there. There's no getting rid of it. But if you let's say I found cancer, okay, I didn't, but let's say I did. It's now on my record in Turkey, but my insurance back here in the US would not know. So if you're concerned about something, or if you're trying to keep something off, that's another great reason to go to a country and, just have it handled. I know many people that have done that. So there are just many great reasons to go, and you don't have to go broke in order to do it. It's actually a huge cost savings to do all of these things and to do them very efficiently. I wanted to ask you a question, Zarema, for Chandler. Chandler's into sports medicine and health, and he's done a lot in this area. Have you seen much with sports medicine and recovery, things like that, in your research on medical tourism?
Again, it's that restorative type, and we see a lot of that here in the United States as well. Gyms or fitness centers or wellness centers that have a lot of these, things incorporated into it. You mentioned, I think, stem cells as well, for different kinds of injuries, and those are taking place. And it's just easier to get in, and it's all into one package deal that makes it so efficient for all of us that are busy and have, that are founders in our company, where you can get efficient healthcare in a beautiful place. We've said luxury a few times, but it's not about crazy opulence. It's really just about that attentiveness, hospitality. I know, Julie, you love this the word hospitality. That's really what's luxurious. I'll be honest, I used to travel just to kind of get away, but you don't come back restored if you're just trying to get away and to escape. And now that I travel, I come back and I focus on coming back with a full cup so that I can be all the things and do all the things to everybody. And so I can serve better when my cup is full. And so traveling to these beautiful places, you're not just healing physically, it's mental, it's emotional, and your cortisol, goes down. So I'm sleeping better. I'm recovering, like mind, body, and soul. And that's really where the whole thing comes together when you travel.
That's interesting. That's super interesting, because I think I was just talking to Julie today. I was like, gosh, when I travel, I just feel so beat up even after traveling. What are some things you do to travel and not feel so beat up after traveling? That's interesting.
We like to travel on points. I will say, we did business class, and I will say Jacob helped me tremendously with using that. I do enjoy, for these long international flights, a business class seat makes a huge difference. You come back, you are achy and uncomfortable, you come back very much, you land and you've taken a nap, you're restored, can start, doing the tourist thing and enjoying all the sights. Coming back, I had a to-do list so long from Julie to get all these things done and to have internet, Wi-Fi, it's covered. I say worked, but I accomplished so much. And by the time I landed, I had all this energy and I was like, I could just keep going. And who would say I sat on a 13-hour flight in a seat, accomplished all these things and came back actually more energized and ready to keep doing things? I think that was a part of it. Julie, if you want to touch on that.
Yes, that's the great thing about working with a travel professional. And I'm very proud of that, is like you do come back happy and you're not stressed out. You're not wondering where you're going to eat dinner and where you're going to stay and how you're going to get there. Z and I had it all planned out so that our group, I tried to spoil them rotten. And hopefully I did. Allison, did you feel a little spoiled? I hope so.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was
That
a
was my
very,
goal.
very well organized, and the level of service that we received from the hotel, the concierge, the restaurants was wonderful. Hospital was great.
Allison, tell Chandler about when we arrived at the hotel and we had flown all night. We were able to sleep because we could lie flat. Even I loved how spoiled we were the second we got to the hotel. Allison, I love when you tell this story. It was great.
Sure, which story? There was a whole bunch
The
of them.
gentleman helped us get in our room.
That was awesome. So after we checked, they walked us up to our room. And as soon as we put our bags down, he said, now, ladies, give me all of your laptops, your phones, everything. And he just started inputting all the information for the Wi-Fi. He got us connected. He set up the entire room before he ever left. So it was just definitely like a higher level of service. We weren't sitting there for 20 minutes, trying to log into all of our devices and make sure that we had connection back with our businesses and our families.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really great.
We want you to go and do whatever it is you want to do and come back so juiced, just like Zarema said, so excited to be home and going back to work. And you hear people all the time, oh, I just got back from a vacation. I need a vacation to rest up. The three of us were right back at it. I was so juiced up from the great time I'd had and everything I had learned. And I mean, it was fantastic. I can't even say enough good about it. It was truly restorative. And I got every blood test known. I had my thyroid, ultrasound, like anything I
Tumor markers. That was reassuring for you. Was
right.
the tumor?
What did you do on vacation? I got my tumor markers. But I slept better. It was great.
So Julie, tell us a little bit about your side of like luxury travel and like what did y'all do other than the medical? I know the medical was a big part of it.
Yes.
But the tourist side, like what did y'all do?
Well, so I want to say with the health tourism, Zarema and I are pairing up and she wants nothing to do with hotel bookings and tour bookings. And that's one of my favorite things. And it's always important to work with someone in their zone of confidence, right? And their expertise. So I love to handle the details and Zarema is fantastic at the health part. But we also have another partner, Jacob, and Jacob books all the flights. And so if people don't have points and miles so that they can go comfortably, we're going to help them get those. And so I made sure everyone was rested when they got there. They arrived in an amazing hotel with a welcome gift, all the things. We actually toured the city. It was very fun. One of my favorite parts of the trip was going into the Grand Bazaar with these women. These chicks are tough cookies. They're all business owners. I've known them all for years. These are not wallflowers. And seeing them in the bazaar handling these guys, it was so good. In fact, it got a little aggressive at one point. I got us kicked out of a stall. The guy got pretty mad at my negotiation skills. I don't really care. We actually killed his prices a few stalls down. We just saw everything Istanbul wise that we wanted. We had restaurant reservations. We were with a large, and I want to say when you travel with a large group, it is very nice to have restaurant reservations because that is stressful going, oh, where can we eat? Oh, it's going to take 2 hours. No, all of that was removed, including the fear of the medical testing. I knew I was going in with a group. We had a plan. We were well cared for. I can't say that enough, that it just really made the travel so much easier to where no one had to think, no one had to stress. We had an itinerary that was digital. And they could click on it anytime. Oh, we're doing this. And we kept it just one thing a day. We weren't overscheduled. I think that was another really big part of what we did right on that trip was that we had, 3 to 4 hours. And honestly, on the health testing, it was longer. But we had multiple hours booked every day, 3 to 4 hours. And then there was a ton of free time because there's always something else you want to do. Or if you want to take a nap, several people took naps, no problem. And then we'd have dinner plans. And, I'm just very proud of that fact that we focused on the health. And I keep thinking, hey, hey, if I'm going to look silly, like if I were to get a chin lift or something like that, you see people all day walking around like that in public in Istanbul, you'll never see those people again. And I really think, hey, if I were going to do something where I am going to look silly the first 7 days, I wouldn't really want to do that here in Savannah and see my friends and be like, oh, you had some work done. You can literally go on a fabulous vacation, look ridiculous, but you're in a foreign country. Like, who cares? And if you've never seen someone that just had hair implants, it's really funny. And they're everywhere. I call it wings. It looks like they have white shaving cream wings around their head like this. Like, it's ridiculous. But who cares? They're in Turkey. Like, it doesn't even matter. So I just thought that was
the
really
privacy piece, right? The privacy piece where you could go somewhere and you don't have to be a celebrity by any means, but you can be founders of your companies and things like that, and just not want to be known. And then you come back and you're like, wow, that was a great vacation. You look fantastic. Yes,
Right.
It was very restorative.
know what you had done.
There's the privacy aspect of that. I don't know. The spa, we went to a Turkish spa that's been there since, we said, what, the 1450 centuries.
55.
It's been there. And that was yet another luxurious splurge on us. I don't know, Allison, you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, that I've never been to anything
Great
like that
hospitality.
before. Come on. Yes, that was amazing. They give you a bubble massage, very unique and to be experienced. So that's not,
For sure.
it's definitely something
This
to
is
put
a
on your
country
list.
that's so old. You'll have buildings with, hundreds of people living in them, and there's one, maybe two bathrooms. Okay. Because that's how they did. They would go a week or two, and then they would show up at the hammam and be bathed every, I don't know, week or month. I guess I should do more research before I talk about it. But I wanted everyone to experience a Turkish, bath is what it's called. Oh, Chandler. Yeah. No, you would have hated it, Chandler. I haven't even told you everything, but you would have hated it. I don't know how much guys would love it. To me, it was very powerful to be very vulnerable. Like, these women are just going to do what they're going to do. And you're just going to lay there. I mean, you're going to be hairless at the end of it. They're scratching you with like this cat's tongue thing. But it was just great to just lay there and just be, I don't know if pampered is the right word, but it was cool.
Yeah, I don't know what the right word is. We did talk about that several times during the day, but it was just a next level, just reset almost. I don't know. I don't know the right word for that.
We went there and we tried all the things. We had the true, authentic experiences. We ate tons of baklava and, just did so many things that are so uniquely Turkish. What was the craziest thing that you did, Allison, that you never even realized?
Craziest? I think, well, honestly, the medical thing I never would have done. I never would have been like, sign me up, but none on my own. So I am glad that I had push of you guys doing it and going. And I was like, okay, you know what, I could sign up for it. But it turned out to be a highlight. And now I feel more empowered with my healthcare. I think just knowing like, no, all my cancer markers are good. My bone density is good. Like, just knowing that, and now having more want to keep things strong and healthy, and like, okay, there's more preventative maintenance minded. The hammam though was definitely interesting. I've never been in a mosque before, so we got to go in a mosque, so there was a ton of different things, and I wasn't sure what to expect in a foreign city, but I felt very safe there.
Yes.
I had a great time.
Well, in Istanbul, one of my favorite things with the group, we walked over to Asia. So Istanbul
Yes.
is one of the very few, this is the only country in the world. I mean, yeah, the only city in the world that spans two continents. So the main part of Istanbul, I think main part, is in Europe. And then there's a bridge across to Asia. And so we walked across and it was really fun. We got dinner in Asia one night. And that was just like, what? Like, it was really mind blowing. We had some very unique experiences. It was just really a great trip.
What are some other places y'all would like to go, kind of experience a similar trip?
I think we already put in the calendar, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
We put in the
We've done
calendar
a
while
lot
we were
of things.
there.
We've talked about a lot of things. We did talk about Thailand. We talked about Singapore. We talked about Central America. We talked about Costa Rica. We talked about South Korea. And these ladies, we can execute on a plan. So stay tuned where we go next. But
Absolutely. We're going to keep doing it. It was great. And I think we're helping people. All three of us have told people what we did. And so many have jumped on and said, I've been wanting to do that, but I didn't know who could help me. And so I'm proud of that. I wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, it's like, it's hard not to talk about when it was such a great experience. I do want to show you, each of us got this. I know you can't read this. It's in Turkish, but this is my medical folder. And look, inside it, I got a CD with all of my images that I can share with my doctor here in the US. This is my eye exam. I do need reading glasses, and I can take this in and get a prescription for reading glasses. Got, just tons of documentation. You can see kind of my bone scan here. It was really really cool in that I brought it home and showed it to one of my doctors, and they were very impressed. They said, wow. And some of it's in Turkish. All I did was I uploaded the PDF of my documents that are in Turkish to ChatGPT, and it then interpreted that for me. And so it was really cool. So I was able to hand that report to my doctor as well. And, it's just so simple now to say, look at this healthcare. And it's just been really fantastic, just top-notch care.
I had a funny thing happen this week. When I was in Turkey, they wanted to give me bifocal contact lenses, and he had a pair to give me while I was there. So that was great. And then when I get back to the US, I have a prescription in Turkish. So I took it to the eye doctor, the place to get the glasses and things. And she goes, but I can't read Turkish. And she's like, wait, oh no, okay, I can understand this. And she's like, I don't know what type of contacts they were though, because that wasn't written down, or if it was in Turkish. But I had taken a photo of the contact lenses that they gave me. So she was like, well, okay, no problem. And they were able to order everything. So that would be a tip, that if you do get prescribed something or they give you something, just take a photo of it so that you can share it with your healthcare provider when you get back to US.
I think that's an important part of all of this. Again, we're healthy, and that gives us confidence in just in our health and how we want to live for as long as we're around. We want to have good health span. And so that gave us a lot of confidence. But, the follow-up is important. Anytime you travel for healthcare, and when you come back, the follow-up is really important. And maybe even if you're going for a specific, let's say, surgery, you want to make sure you've talked to your doctor here and say, this is the plan. I want to make sure that I have good follow-up. I can come back in a week or two when I come back. That follow-up is going to be very important. And that communication is going to be very important.
No, I think that's pretty cool that y'all were kind of doing the whole health checkup, especially as business owners. Like business owners, I always compare it to sports, and there's so many similarities with sports and business owners. Decisions constantly, and being healthy helps with making better decisions. You can work a little bit longer for harder if you're healthier. If you're not healthy, it's harder to work because you just feel like crap all the time. So I think it's good that y'all were checking up on all the things. I think more people should do it. I wish. It's funny. I kind of had a similar test back in the day that they did everything, and I got the whole packet back, and I just threw it. I was like, I don't care. I feel good. But now I wish I took it more seriously, and I'm still. It definitely helped, even in the business world. Just staying sharp, just being. You can work harder for longer.
That's right.
You want to feel as good for as long as possible.
Yeah.
If you're gonna live to 100, you want to feel good till that 100th year, for as long as possible, and that's where we really are able to become our best versions of ourselves when we're healthy and we can think and have, again, that mind, body, soul healing, I think. And you can get that in lots of here in the United States, but also beautiful places in the world.
So every time y'all travel to a different place, will y'all be doing some sort of medical thing, or will it just be a certain place that you travel to? Okay, they've got really good medical stuff here, or is it depending on the place?
We negotiated this, Chandler. We already negotiated this.
Because Alice and I
2
were
years.
again.
We had a negotiation about this while we were in Turkey
This
to
is a
decide.
whole discussion.
This was a
every
whole
6 months.
topic of discussion.
There
2
were
years
things-
in between trips.
I want to
Okay.
do something fun.
There are
Botox.
things that need to be done annually, and there's things that can be easily spaced out, especially when normal, and depending on where you're at, what your age is, what your risk factors are. And so we have negotiated some of that, but every trip is not about necessarily health testing. We very much enjoy each other's companies and discussing life and business together and going through that together. And so there are other trips that we take, but we've always got our thinking hats on. And so we can incorporate business and all the things into any trip.
And as business owners and real estate investors, especially in this market, we're under a lot of stress. And that was one of my concerns too, because everyone knows stress is not good for your health. And that was another thing that made me nervous to get all this testing. I thought, oh no. And one of the very random things that they found for me, which I'm still a little confused on, but I'm trying to research it, is I had a mildly fatty liver, which is not good. And they kept going, have you had a giant weight gain or weight loss? And I'm like, no. And they, I don't really drink that much alcohol. I mean, arguably a little, but anyway, just things like that. And I know that my guess is that it's from stress, and I've got to do better because I don't want to have an actual fatty liver, and even for my weight, for me to have that, it was just very shocking, but we need that. And it's funny because Zarema, we've known for almost 5 years. She's always talking longevity. If you're going to live healthy, be healthy, live your best. None of us want to be in a chair for 10 years. That just sounds horrible. So I'm excited that we're going to use this to go to some really fantastic place, meet amazing amazing people, have amazing experiences, and also stay on top of our health. We can all do better. I mean, I doubt everyone listening to this is in perfect health with, regular testing every 6 months. So
Yeah, no, I think you can almost do it every month. I've seen there's some people coming out like, hey, you need to test every month just to
Yeah.
see your level. At least blood work. That's what's been super in my mind. Like, I just want to get my blood done all the time just to see my levels. It's almost like a test.
we had the blood test, urine test, everything. And the labs were so interesting. Really good.
So Zarema and Allison, I think everybody knows where to find Julie. Where can we contact you? Where can we find y'all?
Website is the best place for me. It's passport-md.com. And you can learn a little bit more about some of the travels, some of the things that you can read about our trip to Istanbul on there as well.
I own curly salons in Long Island, New York. So if you want to reach out to me, it's curlevolution.com.
I need a haircut.
Allison does the best.
All right, I'm going to fly down. I'm going to come cut your hair.
I'm getting married next year and I'm picky, so I might have to. I need someone professional.
All
So,
right.
is there anything else I would like to add, like that I may have missed, or Julie, or anything I want to add?
I just
What I
want
can
to
think of is, oh, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
I just want to say reach out. Like also my travel site, which I never talk about on this show, is sidtravels.com. So if you're interested in my part of it, or we can always connect you with Jacob. But I just can't recommend working with Zarema highly enough. She really cares about everyone's well-being. And it's such an honor, to be your friend, Z. And I really appreciate you pushing me. You really pushed me. And I push back on other things with you, but it's an honor to have a friend like you that's really going, you need this, and I'm going to take you somewhere fabulous so that you do it. And maybe there's someone in your life that needs that. So Chandler, maybe you could go on your honeymoon and get tested. I mean, Chandler will be down.
Say no, Chandler. No. The only thing I was going to tack on to this is we have been on a lot of trips together, right, as a friend group, and that's always wonderful. And a lot of times we have a theme around whatever we're doing. So this trip was health, right? We've had trips on social media. So that's something else that Julie can help you with as well, is if you have more purpose around your trip and she can help you build it out.
Special. Yeah.
Yes.
If you want a professionally done trip with seminars, learning all the things, we had it. I'm proud of it. We're going to keep doing it. So I think Zarema and I bring a really unique spin to this industry, and we're really excited about it. And we're living what we preach. Okay. We're not ever going to tell you to do something that we have not done or we're about to do ourselves. I'm very proud of my authenticity, and you can't get more authenticity than Zarema with her medical degree, which I don't have. We are here to practice what we preach, and we want to have longevity. We want to have assets. We want to have a great lifestyle. We want to take care of ourselves and those around us as well. And I think that's really important. I now have some loved ones that I'm now pushing to go on one of these trips, and I know they need it. I'm sure this is for many of you guys as well.
Well, thank you guys for coming. And please, everybody, reach out. I know they're not afraid to answer your questions. And we appreciate your time and coming on tonight and sharing something that I probably would never known about until talking to y'all. So thank you.
We're going to take you with us next time, Chandler.
Thanks,
we'll take you on the next trip, all right?
Sure.
It's like, I don't know about that, Julie.
Like me, the girls' trip.
I don't know if I'm going on the girls' trip.
He's been around you guys. I think he's aware of what he's in.
He has. Yeah.
A bath with 100 people, I'm good.
Yeah, we'll let you skip the hammam. Like I wouldn't.
There was a guy's side.
I was like, my husband would hate this, but there are other things. We can have you like blow stuff up or sword fight or something. Don't worry. All the raw meat everywhere, Chandler, you'd have been all for it. They're constantly like cutting these big hunks of meat. There's a lot of manly stuff to do. Don't worry. Thank you guys so much for coming on. This is a really important topic. It's not necessarily related to real estate, but boy, if you're going to work in the real estate industry, you have got to have your health. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next episode.
The dollar stretched into a mile, every setback just to settle for style. Stacking paper, vision clearer than glass. Hustle game tight, never moving too fast. Fields of green, seeds of split, I sow. Running numbers, watch the cash trees grow.